Right now, I think just an important question in the field, which is not necessarily pertain to toxicity, but in terms of open questions, is how early can we use CAR T cell therapy? I think it's really worth noting that for the currently commercially available CAR T cell products, and that includes the anti-CD19 CAR T cell products for leukemia and non-Hodgkin lymphoma, specifically diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, and also includes the Idecabtagene product, which is now FDA approved for multiple myeloma. It is an anti-BCMA CAR T cell. I think for all those products, it's really notable that those products were tested in clinical trials in very heavily pretreated patients. In the case of Axicabtagene, for instance, all patients had at least 2 prior lines of therapy. For the group of patients who were tested in clinical trials with the Idecabtagene product, really, most of those patients were very heavily pretreated for their multiple myeloma and it had most classes of agents. So I think and this again doesn't pertain to toxicity necessarily, but I think a really interesting question in the CAR T cell field is how can we move up CAR T cell therapy earlier in treatment? And this is very much, a clinical trial question that just has to be borne out in trials as we go along. Would CAR T cells potentially be more effective in that space because the patient's body has just been exposed to less cytotoxic chemotherapy and maybe the T cells are more naive and more robust? These are questions that are in process of being answered that we don't have the answer to yet. And I think that's a really exciting part of the field. Maybe CAR T cells could be used much earlier in the treatment course and potentially cure more patients. We really don't know the answer to that yet.